What websites pop up when you search for jobs in Japan? Are they legitimate? And can you actually find jobs worth applying to? In today's video, we'll discuss all things GaijinPot Jobs, a trusted job search website that's been helping foreigners find employment in Japan for 25 years and counting. Let's take a behind-the-scenes look at how jobs are posted on the website and how to start your own profile and the best practices for landing your first interview. How jobs are selected on GaijinPot Jobs. On GaijinPot Jobs, the majority of our job listings are for English teaching, but there are also a handful of companies with open positions in IT, tourism, and sales. What are the hiring companies looking for? Most of the companies we partner with require business level or native level English speakers, as they often need candidates with this specific language skill for teaching, translation, or localization purposes. In some cases, companies contact us to help them find candidates for sales and marketing positions to reach a specific overseas market. For example, if the Japanese company's goal is to reach an audience in France, they will need people who can speak French in Japan. Some companies also need bilingual candidates who can speak in business or native level Japanese to connect international staff or overseas headquarters to their Japanese peers, or the other way around. Regardless of the language skills, IT jobs are regularly posted on GaijinPot Jobs, as international candidates and their technical skills are highly valued in this industry. Why do Japanese companies use GaijinPot Jobs?
日本の企業が外人ポットを利用する主な理由は、他の国内求人サイトだったり、リクルートエージェンシーにはないような、国内に住んでらっしゃる外国人材にダイレクトにリーチできる点になります。日本国内においての採用というのは最近、さまざまな事情でですね、多様化っていうのが進んでおりまして、そちらも含めてネイティブな英語力であったり、国際経験であったり、そういったものを、ニーズとして、結構、多様化してくる中でも、我々の、人材というのは、そちらに対応できる、ものになっていると思います。
What about foreign companies?
海外の企業に関しては、日本においての、経験をやはり、強く求めていたりですとか、国際的な駐在員ですとか、そういったものを、求めている傾向に多いですので、そういった形で利用していただくことが多いです。そもそも外人ポットというのがですね、25年以上前に、外国人3人によって創業されてますので、海外の、企業、もしくは、日本国内の外資系企業においても、そちらの、利用する上でのハードルっていうのがなく、スムーズに、ご活用いただいているかなと思います。
What about foreign companies? Do foreign and Japanese companies look for the same type of candidate?
もちろん共通する部分もあると思いますけれども、組織的な、ニーズですとか、文化的な違いからか、異なる、人材を求める、傾向にあると思います。日本企業の場合ですと、日本語の能力っていうのはもちろんですし、また日本での、働く上でのビジネススタイルですとか、そういった文化的なものに対応できるような、ところを重視しているような、傾向にあるかなと。海外の場合はですね、もっと、国際的な、ビジネスマインドセットですとか、あとは、いろいろな、特徴っていうのを活かせるように、そういった意味で幅はあると思うんですけれども、いずれにおいてもですね、まずは書類選考、スクリーニングっていうのが、まずは、重要になりますし、そういった意味でも、外人ポットで登録していただく上では、まずは、ビジネス的な装いで、プロフィールの、レジュメ写真を、上げていただいたりですとか、過去の経歴っていうのは事細かに、詳細を書いていただければなと思います。
Who can publish on GaijinPot Jobs?
掲載可能な職種については、フルタイムからパートタイム、派遣や人材紹介など様々になりますけれども、いずれにおいても外人ポットが定めるガイドラインに適した企業のみが掲載可能となっています。具体的には、日本国内の労働基準法に、適切に準ずる形であること、あとは、日本国内で事業登録があること、適切な、雇用が、されている企業という形になります。もちろん、人種ですとか、国籍、年齢、性別、こういったものを選考条件としている場合にはやはり差別にあたりますので、そういったことがないように、 我々の方で、きちんと、審査をして、適切なサイト運営を行っております。
How do you screen employers who partner with GaijinPot Jobs?
求人情報を掲載するには採用企業の、アカウントというのが、登録が必要になるんですけれども、そちらの登録に際しては、事業所の、住所ですとか、担当者のお名前、ご連絡先、そういったものをまず、情報として、ご登録いただきます。またそちらのご登録いただいた情報をもとにですね、弊社の担当者が、お打ち合わせをさせていただいて、広告出稿に関する契約というものを結ばせていただいて初めて、掲載が、可能となります。また、先ほどの、採用企業アカウント、こちらの方からオンラインで、求人情報っていうのを、投稿していただくものになるんですけれども、そちらの投稿内容、求人情報に関しても弊社の専任の担当者がですね、内容を確認させていただいて、こちらもガイドラインに、適した形であるか、そういったものを、三重のような形で、チェックをさせていただいて、サイト、こちらの健全性っていうものを保っています。
What happens if you receive a message from a candidate about a scam job offer?
ユーザーからの報告内容、にしてですね、採用企業に、再調査というものを速やかに行わせていただいております。直接、企業にですね聞き取り調査ですとかそういったものをさせていただいた上で、求人内容に、誤りですとか、ガイドラインに抵触する部分、そういったものがあった場合は、求人原稿の修正ですとか停止、また、内容そのものにですね虚偽の内容があったりですとかそういった場合には、採用企業のアカウントの凍結ですとか、ブラックリストを入れたり、より重大なものとしてですね、契約の解除ですとかそういったものをさせていただくっていうこともありえます。もちろん、先ほどお伝えした通りですね審査っていうのは、我々も自信を持ってやっておりますので大前提にこういったものは起こらないというような形ではあるんですけれども常にユーザーからの声に耳を傾けてサイト運営を行っておりますしそういった報告というのは我々の方まで寄せていただければと思っております。
Do you recruit your employees on GaijinPot Jobs?
はい、弊社にオープンなポジションがあればGaijinPot Jobs を使って我々も採用を行っています。現在弊社 G プラスメディアには12カ国以上ですかね約50名ほど在籍しているんですけれども何を隠そう私もGaijinPot Jobs 経由で応募して採用してされて今働いておりますのでもしそういったタイミングがあってですね弊社の採用情報見つけた場合興味を持っていただけたらもちろんどしどし応募していただければと思いますし、はい、他の企業と変わらずそちらも注目してもらえればと思っております。
Signing up. Now that you know a little bit more about GaijinPot Jobs and what we offer, let's go through the sign up process. To create an account, you'll need an email address, a Facebook profile, or a LinkedIn account. For the latter, some information will be pulled from your account, which can save you time when you fill out your resume. Once you sign up and you verify your account, it's time to get started on your resume. On GaijinPot Jobs, you can create multiple resumes that focus on your different fields of professional experience. It's useful if you'd like to apply for a part-time position alongside your full-time role. Make your resume by clicking the My Resume tab. Start by filling in basic information about yourself like your name, date of birth, nationality, visa status, current location, education history, work history. Once you complete all of these, your resume will earn the Essential badge. The different badges on GaijinPot Jobs are Essentials, a low-effort basic resume useful for part-time jobs or jobs that require no skills. Employer-friendly, that will get employers just the right amount of information they need to know about you. Detailed, this is the most preferred badge amongst our users, which shows your full potential when applying for jobs. Social, this badge allows you to show more of your personality, including extra information such as awards, interests, or social media links. GaijinPot Resume Builder makes it easy for you to control how much information you want to share with employers while understanding what is needed to get that job. You can complete each required step just by clicking on the correspondent link in the left column here. Tips: a concise resume with key factors about yourself and experience in simple dot points and a friendly but professional photo of yourself can be key to getting that first interview. Now that your resume is complete, you will notice this toggle. GaijinPot Jobs has a recruiting feature that allows employers to find candidates that they can contact directly, regardless of their previous application. This toggle is very useful if you are passively looking for opportunities and would prefer companies to reach out to you. Be reassured that your privacy is our utmost priority. Even if this toggle is enabled, employers will have restricted access to your resume, as you see now. Employers can't view any specific identifiable information, only basic information such as age, current location, and industry experience. Apply for jobs. Your resume is now complete, and all you have to do is find a job to apply to. In order to look for jobs on GaijinPot Jobs, you have three options. The basic search, where you can search for jobs with simple keywords, roles, and locations. The pre-built search, where you can look for the most recent jobs in preset categories. And the advanced search, where you can filter jobs from language level requirements to industry, career level, and contract type. This is also where you can filter jobs that accept applications for candidates outside of Japan needing a visa. When you find your dream job, just press apply at the bottom of the page. You will then be given the option to write a cover letter. Some jobs require this. It's best practice to always add a personalized cover letter for each job you apply to though. This is your opportunity to show motivation and consideration of the job to your possible future employer. What happens after you apply? So now that you've applied for your dream job, here is how employers will see your application. As you can see, only your basic information is shown in this section. For the employer to find out more about you, they will need to click on your profile. This is why having a good resume and cover letter is essential for you to stand out, get a high star ranking, or even a bookmark. We asked our in-house hiring managers to review a fake job offer and candidate. Here are his thoughts.
Okay, so today we're looking at a job description and giving job seekers on GaijinPot advice on how to apply to a job and giving you the best chances and advice to apply for a job and get an interview. One thing that you should remember is that when you are applying for a job, make sure that you at least match at least 50% of the required skills and experience that you need on the job description. So today we're looking at a social media marketing assistant role. This is a junior level position for somebody that has maybe 1 to 2 years experience with social media marketing. And in terms of the job description itself, one thing you should always look for is the skills and qualifications first. I think that's the important thing. And again, going back to the 50% rule, really take a look at the first 3 or 4 qualifications and skills that are required or listed on the job description. Because that's really usually people writing job descriptions will list in order of preference. Usually the bottom ones are probably the least priority, but usually the first 2 or 3 are the highest preference. Another area that you should look at is preferred skills and qualifications. Some are required and then others are preferred. But those are the 2 points that you should really look at, which ones are required and which ones are preferred. And in this particular one, they're looking for preferred skills and qualifications, which are Google Ads, Facebook, SNS, MailChimp, Canva. Even if you have some of those, but not all of them, it's probably okay to apply. But what they really want to know on your profile is how much experience you have in all of those. So we'll take a look at some profiles and see which profiles match this job description best, and some pointers on how you can improve your profile on GaijinPot to get the interview. So one thing to remember about a resume is that the resume is really, the main purpose of the resume is just to get an interview. You get a job by going to the interview and showing your personality and skills to the company or the employer, but the resume is really to just get an interview and get noticed. So that's what we're going to take a look at today, is how you can improve your resume or profile to get that first interview. Okay, so let's first take a look at an example of not the most ideal profile. So this resume or profile, obviously there are many things wrong with this profile. The first thing that stands out to me is one, it doesn't have a picture, right? And I would highly recommend that if you do have a resume or a profile, that you do include a picture. And it's a picture of yourself and not somebody else in the picture or out in a park or something like that. Make it professional. Spend some time to have a picture professionally done if you need it. It only costs a few thousand yen to have a good picture. So I highly recommend having a picture. That's the first and foremost. A lot of employers won't even look at resumes without pictures. The other thing too, on this particular profile, and I do see a lot of these as a hiring manager, is I'll put as much effort into looking at your profile as you put into making your resume, right? And that's kind of the golden rule, right? The more time you spend on making your profile stand out, the more time a company or a hiring manager is going to get interested in interviewing you. So for this particular resume, I would not spend very much time at all on this particular profile, and I would move on to somebody else. So with this profile, one of the first things that stand out to me is the person is not in Japan. They've listed themselves in Los Angeles, which is good. You should be honest on where you're physically. But one thing you need to remember is only apply for jobs with companies that will accept people from overseas, right? Even though you could do that job or something like that, a lot of times they won't even consider you based on either your visa or your physical location, right? So that's one definitely point is, don't lie about your location, but definitely only apply for jobs that accept applications from outside Japan. And most of the jobs that I've seen here in Japan, they prefer people here in Japan than overseas. Another thing that stands out in this particular profile or resume is, for example, the education. Education is super important. That's why it's probably listed on the top in the GaijinPot profile. But you don't want to write a lot about your degree unless you're still finishing it, which if you've already finished your degree, then you should really just list what you majored in, obviously the years and when you graduated, and maybe some affiliated groups or affiliations, but that's it. But that's one thing that I see here is it's way too much text for a degree. Also on that same note, the personal interest side, again, that's way too many hobbies or interests listed. And a lot of times, again, you have to remember the personal interests, they're not gonna hire you based on your personal interests, right? They're gonna hire you based on your skills, right? So I think in the skills section as well, these are really good skills, but again, I think they're too lengthy, right? So having bullet points is really good. So one point you really need to consider also is aesthetically, what does it look like? On here, it's very text heavy, right? So you should keep it very clean and simple in most cases. So cover letters, it's kind of 50-50. Some people don't put cover letters, some people do put cover letters. In general, most people don't read cover letters. As a hiring manager, honestly, I don't really read cover letters. Unless they're really well written or something really stands out, or I'm looking for more information. But in general, you should include a cover letter, but keep it very short and simple. And the purpose of a cover letter should really be to talk about what's not in the other fields in your resume, right? Like your education or those things. Talk about more like why are you interested in this position or how you came across this position, or expand on some of the points, but keep it very brief, right? Again, the purpose of the cover letter is to get that interview. Keep it short and sweet. Also, keep the paragraphs separated so it's easy to see what you're trying to say. Encourage action, right? Say something in the cover letter that wants them to contact you. So with associations, I think it's good to list some associations. If you're not associated with anyone, that's fine. You don't have to list anything. But I do think you should list associations that may be relevant to this particular company or the job itself. With awards, it's always good if you have done something commendable or achievable, go ahead and put it down. Hopefully it's short and sweet. Don't list everything that you've done since elementary school as an award, but just put the ones that are relevant to this particular job or company. And on the last note, websites. I think, for example, this particular position is a marketing role, so you should put a portfolio. A lot of marketing jobs that I see, you do need to have a portfolio. So having a link there saves the hiring manager time, so they don't have to ask you for it. So put a link there that's relevant for that particular portfolio. What I wouldn't put is links that aren't relevant or that could damage your reputation against your profile. Sometimes people put maybe a LinkedIn profile on their resume, but it's different than this profile, right? So you don't want to give contradicting information, or if you do put a website, make sure that everything is aligned. So your work history and your affiliations are the same on your social media footprint. This particular profile is good because the skills are bulleted and they stand out. It's very easy to read, and a lot of them match the job description that was created. One thing it doesn't do is it doesn't tell me how much experience you have related to those skills. So in the work history, one thing I would recommend to do is adjust the relevant work experience that you have that matches this particular job. And that goes for also awards or affiliations as well. You should always put that separate or bottom, so you should leave a space for awards. But that's another good spot to add points that you've done or specific achievements that you've done within that company for that particular role. And again, here, going into the work history, this profile is good. It tells me what you've done, how long you've been there, but also it lists very cleanly what is related to that job that you actually had, right? And again, with a resume or profile, you don't want to lie, but you do want to pull things out and match what you've done to the actual job description. And I know that sounds like a lot of work, but if you don't do it, you're lessening your chances of actually getting that interview. So what I would recommend is for each job application that you apply for, you change your application profile to apply for that job. And that, again, that's not bending the truth. It's basically just gearing your work experience to the actual job that you've done. So what I would recommend is adjust or edit the contents in your work history to match what you actually did, or highlight what's relevant for that particular job. Again, on this cover letter, I think it is still a little too long, but one thing that was different than the other one is it's very easy to read. So I actually don't have to read word for word. I can actually just peruse and scan and see if this person has done SNS or TikTok and those things, and I can zero in on that and just read a snippet of what they've done. And that's the importance of a cover letter, because each hiring manager is different. Some will go through it like a fine-tooth comb. Others, they're only going to pick out the parts that really stand out. So you have to create your profile in order to cater to both types of hiring managers or scanning techniques. So again, going back to giving you the chances to get an interview with this particular job description, I would probably choose this profile first, or it would be on my short list as a hiring manager, because it checks all the boxes. It's very easy for me to read. It's very easy for me to understand what they've done, and I would want to learn a little more. Whereas the other two profiles kind of miss the mark. One is way too limited and not worth my time. The other one is a bit lengthy. They're probably good, but I'm just concerned that they wrote too much for their own good. Yeah. So yeah, as general pointers go for your profile, always make sure to adjust your resume for the actual job itself. Also, don't just spray and pray and apply for any job that's listed there just because you want to apply or you think it's going to increase your chances. Really strategically look at which jobs match your actual skill experience, as well as the company that you want to work for. So also remember to keep your resume and profile quite clean, short and to the point. Use a lot of white space. Don't fill up too many spaces with information that isn't relevant for the particular job you're applying for. So yeah, again, if you are looking for a job in Japan, definitely take the extra time to adjust your profile for it. That's not to say that you shouldn't try for jobs that you want. Maybe the job is a lot higher or a more challenging job that you've done in the past, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't try for it. But you should at least adjust your resume and put some time and effort into matching your profile to the actual job and company that you want. Or profile, and take a look at it, evaluate it, and see if it really makes sense based on those pointers. And if you're not on GaijinPot, register and apply and start looking for your next job today.
So once the employer reviews your profile and decides to interview you, they will have two ways to contact you, via the GaijinPot Jobs direct messaging system or via email directly to your inbox. So don't forget to check your account and mailbox regularly. And that's it. Now you know how to apply for jobs in Japan on GaijinPot Jobs. What's your dream job in Japan? Let us know in the comments. If you have an interview coming up, be sure to check out our previous video on how to navigate interviews here in Japan. See you next time.